Hi lady, I hope that you found the last video helpful, and I'd really love to hear if you realized that you have an unhealthy relationship with food and you didn't know it before. I'd also love to hear how it's going with practicing presence and what you're noticing with that. So today I want to actually build off of presence and start using it to pay attention to your hunger cues. So when we can discern the difference between hunger cues that are coming from a place of needing to nourish our body versus hunger cues that are emotional in nature and lead to binge eating, then we can really start to dig in and do the work as to why we're binge eating. So we have physical hunger cues and we have emotional hunger cues. Physical hunger cues are like that feeling in your stomach. They include hunger pains, the grumbling and the growling, really empty feeling in your stomach. They can also include low energy and maybe even some low blood sugar. Generally what happens though is when we stop this diet binge cycle, our blood sugar levels out. So if you have been in a diet binge cycle for quite some time, it can take a bit for your hunger cues to regulate, and that's okay. The other thing is our hunger cues change from day to day. They're never the same, and they change based on our activity level, how well we slept, how much we ate the day before, how much mental work we're doing, because that can be really strenuous and burn a lot of energy, as well as where we are in our menstrual cycle. So just being aware of this and understanding that our hunger fluctuates and to just flow with it. On the other hand, emotional hunger cues come from the mind. They include things like cravings, as well as you're going to notice a lot of negotiating going on in your head about what you should or shouldn't eat. So I hear a lot of the time people will tell me, well, if I just listen to my body, I'm going to end up eating pizza and chocolate and ice cream, right? They feel like they have to control because they think that that's what they're going to eat. But the thing is, this isn't their body telling them this. This is their mind. And it's really subconscious. We don't even realize it at first until we start to do this work. So our body actually wants us to be healthy, right? It wants nourishment. Now, I'm not saying that I never eat something that maybe my body is like, no, this isn't going to be best for my energy, or it's not going to nourish me on a cellular level. But I might choose something like chocolate or ice cream because it's going to nourish my soul in that moment, or it's going to be so fun for my inner child. So there's a balance with that, and that is a topic for another video, but I just want you to be aware of that because we can go down this route of using this as another diet and being so rigid and structured and moving into orthorexia, which I don't want you to do. But it is really about building that connection with your body, which so many of us don't have, or we wouldn't be struggling with food in the first place. So when we can really discern the difference between a physical hunger cue and use that to nourish our body, satisfy our hunger, versus an emotional hunger cue, then we can start to do that work of digging in underneath the emotional hunger cue and looking at what we are actually really needing in that moment, right? Because when we have this strong desire for a particular food, it's not our body, that's our mind. Because when we're actually really hungry, like a salad will sound good. A salad will be nourishing, it'll satisfy us. And I'm not saying just like a green salad, of course you need some protein and some carbs in there as well, but when we have this strong pull to say ice cream and you have the biggest craving for it, there's something emotional underneath that. So this is why presence is so important, because when we don't even have the presence, or when we don't have presence, we're not going to have that awareness of the difference between physical and emotional hunger, and we won't be able to dig in and do the work as to why we're binge eating, what we're using food to numb, why we're using it to cope. So I hope you found this helpful. I would love to hear if you had any ahas. I would love to hear what it's like paying attention to this and noticing how many times you're eating because of a physical hunger cue versus how many times you're eating because of an emotional hunger cue. And I'll see you in the next video.